You can go to the next question, Nashika.
Okay. In my lifetime, I have also seen such scenarios and such people. So it is crystal clear that drug use and abuse can contribute to harmful short and long-term health risks. So before continuing with our session, I hope to show you a small video clip which is done by WHO that shows the solutions to the impact of the harmful use of alcohol. Let's watch the video.
Guys, seems to be a technical issue. Please bear with us for a while.
Every year, harmful use of alcohol is responsible for 3 million deaths and 5% of the global health burden, from road traffic injuries to violence, abuse and neglect, to diseases like liver cirrhosis, heart disease, cancers and tuberculosis, to mental health issues like alcohol dependence, depression and suicides. But what can we do about it? Well, the WHO's global strategy, endorsed by member states, aims to reduce the harmful use of alcohol. Unfortunately, implementation of the strategy is uneven. Meet Nina. In her country, there are very few government regulations on drinking. Nina is out with a friend. The alcohol is cheaper than bottled water, and the bar stays open till 4 AM, so people are encouraged to stay out late and drink more. Nina's friend falls and hurts herself. Now meet Amya. Her government has introduced pricing measures on alcohol, and there's a mandatory closing time for bars, which means Amya and her friend leave for home at midnight. Amya decides to take a taxi, because the police in her country are very active in enforcing drink driving countermeasures. But in Nina's country, the police don't enforce drink driving laws at all, so she decides to drive her friend home. She is way over the limit and crashes her car. Nina and her friend are taken to hospital, using up the time and resources of busy nurses and doctors. Nina's injuries aren't serious, and once they're patched up, she is released immediately. But when she gets home, she is told that her friend died in the car crash. In Amya's country, if people display signs of problems with drinking alcohol, they are offered help early. Amya's country also has restrictions on alcohol advertising, unlike Nina's. where young people can be persuaded to drink to excess by cleverly targeted commercials. If governments implement the WHO's Safer initiative, they can change people's relationship with alcohol, making our world less like Nina's and more like Amya's. Be safer. Strengthening restrictions on alcohol availability. Advancing and enforcing drink driving countermeasures. Facilitating access to screening, brief interventions and treatment. Enforcing restrictions on alcohol advertising. Raising prices on alcohol through taxes and pricing policies. Safer is a WHO-led initiative that follows the global strategy to make our world safer from alcohol-related harm.
Okay, as the video said, be safer, guys. Great. Let's head back to the session. Here's my next question, sir. The economic and the health harms are only a part of the total alcohol-related damage, but alcohol harm is also considered a human rights issue. What sectors are directly influenced by alcohol use to consider this as a global issue related to the rights of people?
Yes, that is also a big area. I think as young people, we have to be search for more information and facts about it. Today, we are talking about everybody has a right to health, right to education, and right to many things. And we are talking about the child rights. There is a child rights chart in the world. And we are talking about the women's rights. We are talking about the workers' rights. There are so many, right? So unfortunately, as I told you in the beginning, this alcohol affects all these right-based approaches, right? So there's a kind of philosophical effect also there. It is like this, everybody is fighting for their rights, but very rarely people do their duties. So that we are talking about the rights today. So at the same time that we have to think of both. But when it comes to the rights of health of a family, I told you how it affects by the breadwinners' alcohol use, and right of education in that family, how it affects. And don't think this is happening only in the developing world. It is same in the developed world too, right? So if I go into the area of women's rights, the way the alcohol industry is manipulating women's rights and manipulates women for their marketing strategies and other type of promotions. So you won't believe that how do they do that, right? I would like to invite you to read a book called Heineken in Africa. It is about the Heineken beer company and how they actually do unethical work in Africa to earn money. The young guy called Oliver Van Beeman, I have met him once. So he wrote a book called Heineken in Africa. It is available in the internet also. Just type in Heineken in Africa, Oliver Van Beeman, right? If you read that book, you will understand that how this alcohol industry is violating the rights of the child, rights of the women, rights of the people, and so many other areas too. As I always talking about the developing part of the world, let me give you some examples from the developed part of the world, right? If you think it is developed, right? So because some people say this developed is not developed, it's wealthy, right? There are two different things. There are wealthy countries. How can you say that those countries are developed? Because there are some poor countries, but our countries may be more than developed in some areas. But according to the world categorization today, some countries put actually into the poverty forcefully because of the measurements problems, right? So in Australia, alcohol contributes to 50% of all partner violence. So how can you say that Australia is a developed now? If you are a woman, just think twice about it. And before going to Australia, some people like to go to Australia, right? So, and the other thing is, and from that, actually 73% of it as physical assault by a partner. That is the sad bitter truth in the world, which is not coming to teledramas and films. I want to tell you, young people, don't deceive by the films, YouTube channels and all, because they are not telling you the truth of this world. Truth is still behind the scene, right? And I can give you, in USA, victims of physical assault reported alcohol use by their partners in 55% of the cases, right? So do you think that in the wealthy countries, the alcohol use is less? No, they are suffering. And sometimes they are, they are shy to tell us, right? So because you have to cover up your image. But the researchers who do really dig into facts and figures found out how alcohol affected their rights. Rights as a child, rights as a woman, right? So these are actually, there are so many things that we can talk about, but I would like you to go dig into information and think of the kind of correct right side of this problem. Thank you.
Yeah, all these things show how perilous is this issue. Next question. Alcohol might have an obvious impact in achieving some SDGs like eradicating poverty, achieving gender equality, ensuring healthy lives, but can you explain how alcohol might affect areas such as ensuring drinking water for all, combating climate change, and protecting terrestrial ecosystems?
Yes. I have some actually facts which shock you. It's a kind of shock treatment. Good to listen to that, right? So actually I got it because I want to tell you, right? So just see whether you can believe, right? To get 1 liter of wine, right? Think of it, right? To get 1 liter of wine, 870 liters of water are needed. So to manufacture 1 liter of wine, you need 870 liters of pure water to the whole process. So the water is a scarce resource in this world. Do you think if a spirit company, beer company, whatever alcohol company, using your scarce resource to produce alcohol is a kind of thing that you can accept, right? The next one I want to tell you is that the water footprint of beer is horrific, right? For 1 liter of beer, 298 liters of pure water have to be used. Do you think it's a kind of productive thing to manufacture alcohol in this world? Right? So as young people, you must think of it, right? But again, I tell you that these facts and figures are hidden because starting from the Google is a company. Don't believe Google is a kind of the kind of independent source for information. No, it is not. They are paid to promote something. They are paid to hide something, right? So that is the truth of this world today. So therefore, the real facts and figures of alcohol industry is not coming out because there are lots of agencies working towards hiding these factors and only promoting alcohol, right? But as young people, I ask you to become a kind of investigative journalist in this world because we don't have them. We have just reporters. They report everything, but nothing in after that, right? So therefore, the kind of water, the scarce resource in the world is actually, you don't have word to use what a kind of waste of pure water for manufacturing alcohol, and alcohol causes some other problems to the personal life, family life, society, and a country as a whole, right? So all these things are the truth behind alcohol production. But again, I tell you, right? So dig into the correct facts. Don't believe what they are actually telling you all the time.
The consequences of this issue are very complex than we thought. We have already discussed the negative impacts of drugs and alcohol on society, but when it comes to an individual's life, how does alcohol limit or jeopardize someone's happiness? Can it affect the personal development of a person?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. The word happiness very important, happiness, because in the World Health Organization reports always now today say that the single most important factor to measure your health is happiness. If you are happy, you are immunized. If you are happy, you are energetic. If you are happy, you are productive. Right? So happiness is one of the most important factors in the world today to measure the personal hygiene factor. So therefore, now the problem arises again, right? Because alcohol is marketing to the whole world, telling that it gives you happiness. It enhances your happiness, right? So you can have a nice time with your friends if you drink beer. That is how they market it. But the real truth behind alcohol is, so I invite all the students here who know the chemistry and biology, just go and check whether alcohol is a stimulant, whether it is a depressant, or is it a nutrient. I know that most of our young people might think, yes, alcohol is a stimulant because my friend is dancing, my other friend is singing, others are, having nice time, very active after drinking alcohol. But believe me, alcohol is a depressant. Alcohol doesn't have any properties to make you happy, or alcohol doesn't have any properties to make you energetic and have fun. It is all, we call it, social learning theories, because society teach you alcohol is a stimulant, but in the real world, in the reality check, alcohol is a depressant. You actually observe and you sometimes feel alcohol is a depressant because the people are not balanced after drinking alcohol, they can't talk well, they can't walk well. Those are the depressant effects. And people can't sleep well. And if you wake up after drinking alcohol one day, going to a party, you come home, you sleep, you wake up next day, how you feel? You feel so much energetic and do lots of work. No, you say that you feel tired, you don't feel like going to work, something like that. Why? It's a depressant. It is like this. I will give you a kind of sentence which you can study for like next month. Right? Alcohol is biologically, chemically is a depressant, but socially, actually, it works as a stimulant. It is not because of the chemical properties, but because of the learned effects. Learned effects. I will give you one simple example, right? I know there are so many girls maybe watching, listening this. And when you use high heels, how you feel after using high heels for 4 or 5 hours for an event? I think you feel really nice, You're so, isn't it?
It's really painful.
Yes, it is painful. It is uncomfortable. But for the next event, you use it again. What is it? Why is it? Because it's painful to you. But because of the social norms, because of other factors and the trends kind of things, the stylish kind of things, it forces you to wear. You do it because, as I told you at the beginning, we are social animals. We are most of the time concerned about how other people think of me than what I'm actually experiencing now. Actually, girls using high heels, taking all the pains and discomfort is very similar to males using alcohol because it's a depressant. It makes them tired. It makes them discomfort, but they continuously use it. It is because of the social norm, right? So it affects the happiness of your life. If you start drinking beer and enjoy your event, after some time, you become a kind of person that the event is there, but you can't enjoy it because it is without beer. Some people say that, oh, I can't enjoy this event. Isn't there alcohol here? So some people go on trips and ask, don't you take some alcohol with you? So how can you enjoy? Then you must understand, now you are actually a puppet of the alcohol industry because you can enjoy. Earlier you had fun, but now you can't. It affects your happiness of your life, and it actually limits your happiness in your life. And then you become a kind of puppet of the alcohol industry. Then you need beer to dance, beer to sing songs, beer to have good time, right? So, but when you are very young, you did not use those kind of things to have fun, right? That is how the alcohol industry actually, what do you call it? They recruit young people to drink alcohol and ruin the happiness of young people. So it is up to you to protect your happiness of life from these kind of marketing strategies in the world.
So guys, don't be a puppet of alcohol. Please enjoy without alcohol. Alcohol is not something that brings you the happiness. It is not the actual happiness. So now we are almost at the end of our session. Now it's the time for the questions of our audience. If you still have any kind of questions regarding today's session, you can send them using the link in the chat box. I can see our excited audience is sending us many questions. Here I have got some interesting questions from the audience. So you can answer the questions briefly.
Yeah.
One is asking, my friend is alcoholic. How do I make him change his behavior even if he doesn't want to?
Yes, the simple answer is there's no science, no technology in the world to change person's behavior, especially alcoholic's behavior, if he or she doesn't want. There are no psychiatrist specialists in the world to change a person who doesn't want to change. It is not only actually for alcohol, for anything. If you don't want to come out from the poverty, nobody can take you out of poverty. The first kind of motivation should come from you. But I will give you, if it is a kind of real question, so what I would suggest is you better take him to a kind of psychiatrist or trained psychological counselor for alcohol issues, because most of the people who are addicted to alcohol has some other issues of their lives. So if that professional can kind of do a kind of assessment or audit of that guy's behavior and his early childhood, whatever, they will suggest something to do. So if it is a kind of alcoholic in that terminology, right? But if you have friends who are actually in the path of going to alcoholic, not yet, you must help them. You must help them by showing them the reality of the world, right? Thank you.
Then, as the time flies, I'll choose one question. Do addiction affect differently concerning gender? Have we ignored gender in addiction?
It is like this. As I said, violence, we call it gender-based violence, right? So gender-based, if you take gender-based violence, most of the violence actually happen because of alcohol. Because alcohol always promotes the male masculinity in the world. So that is happening. That is why the alcohol industry is manipulating the kind of models and actresses in the world to promote their products. So gender is a huge factor here, right? So we did not have time to talk about a lot. And so therefore, I ask you to study a lot and read something about it. It's a big factor and we must change it. Don't forget that if you are a women's rights activist, alcohol always helps the male masculinity. You have to change it in this world. It doesn't mean that now you should drink alcohol, right? It does mean that you have to change the alcohol norms in the world.
Okay, as the limited time we have, we cannot, we are sorry that we cannot give the answers for the rest of the questions. So I'm quite sure that our audience could learn many things from this session. Even I gained good knowledge from you, sir. As time has brought us to its natural ending, we are now to wind up the session. So I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Pubudu Sumanseka. Thank you, sir, for joining us, dedicating your valuable time through busy schedules. And also, we offer our sincere thanks to our partners. So a big shout out to our official media partners, Sunday Observer and Daily News, and our digital media partners, Halog Magazine, The Good PR, The Event, Impulse, Let Me Know, Ceylon 365, Colombo Beacon, Hunters LK, and Articulate. Last but not least, my loving gratitude goes to our amazing audience for joining us on this session to make this a huge success. So have a nice week, stay safe, stay healthy.